You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. 1-402-799-1811. That is the message line number. We're here. We're hoping to not fall as flat as Fauci's opening pitch the other night.
Oh my god.
Oh,
that was painful. Did you guys see this? You guys have to look this up. It is like there's no defending this man. There's no,
okay.
And if this is the way that he pitches, I'm terrified of our country is just we're gone. We're goners.
So I admit I have not seen it yet. This is going to be live. This is going to be live on the air.
It's amazing. It reminds me of an exact throw. I have this throw in mind that I will tell you about, and I'll see if it reminds you of the same thing.
So I'm
sure you've seen this movie.
Here we go for the YouTube. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Courtesy of CNN here. Wow. Well, you know what? He
It's so bad.
So let's see here if I can play this one more time for the YouTube
So
folks.
I've heard his defenders I've heard his defenders say in jest.
How can you defend that?
Is that he wasn't trying to throw it to the actual catcher or throw it to anyone because
he was social distancing?
He was trying to purposely throw it away. Now, there's no way. He just sucks. He just sucks at throwing. That's all it is. His dad never taught him how to throw.
He claims the best memories he had as a child was playing baseball.
Yeah, right. I'm sure there was like one good memory where his dad was like pitying him and he probably never played again. What does this remind me of? I can't
stop watching.
I have a distinct thing that this triggered in my memory.
What does it remind you of?
Me of? Have you watched, and I'm sure you have, The Sandlot?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where the kid tries to throw the ball?
Yeah.
That is who that kid turned
Smalls.
Into.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny.
It is so bad. Yeah, think about it. It's the same throw, man.
It's so bad. Like, I am cringing watching.
I don't know. Does he have like a disability? Like he can't bring his arm all the way back or something like that? Because that's the only thing I could think of, unless he just is that bad.
What's that surgery they have to get on their shoulders?
I have no idea.
Oh, the Tommy John surgery.
Right.
First,
did he?
I had the setup for a great joke, but I forgot the name there. I was going to say he needs surgery now. I mean, one pitcher and ends up with Tommy John surgery.
Well, he was carrying the weight of the entire MLB on his shoulders.
It's true. So
I heard that you could consider that the weight of 100 games that were missed.
So this was the first game, right?
Yes.
This was the official first game. So he threw out the pitch. They went to a clip of the president in the Rose Garden, right?
Oh, I don't know.
They did a huge.
All I saw was the clip.
Like I guess I guess they did a huge uniting festivities or whatever. Of course there's no one in the stadium other than media and players.
Right.
And Fauci.
Right. And Fauci.
And Fauci sitting there with his family with no mask.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That was
a big mistake.
Optics.
Yep.
Optics. That does not look good.
He was caught by the media or a photographer, I guess. I haven't seen any actual video of this. Sitting in the stands with his family. Well, I'm assuming that's his wife, and I don't know who the guy on his right or left is.
Right, that's what I'm wondering
so,
who that is.
So you got three people. The stands are empty except for these three people. His wife's sitting next to him. He's in the middle. Fauci's in the middle, and then there's a gentleman on his right. And the gentleman on his right has his mask on. Fauci has his mask on his chin, and the lady is just holding her mask in her hand. So
it's hilarious because I saw
real good on the optics.
I saw another clip where she puts her mask back on and takes a selfie.
Oh,
yes.
Painful.
Yes.
Yikes.
She puts mask back on and takes a selfie. Anyways,
I feel sorry for these people, man.
Rules for me, but not for thee.
Being watched. Yep.
Rules for me, but not for thee. That's what happens when you're an elite, man.
Yep.
When you are an elite, you are watched. Yep. But you also don't have to follow the rules, I guess.
I mean, I don't. I don't know about you, but so they knocked down baseball down to 60 games.
Yeah, what in the world? I mean, are they going to do an asterisk now?
I don't know.
Like after the season, I mean, 60 games is nothing. They're going to prorate it?
No, it's not. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
Like, I mean, because all the records are going to be all screwed up.
Like they're right.
All the records are screwed up.
This is an open-ended competition at this point. There's nobody. If you're just having a better time getting back up and running than, whatever other team, you could take the title.
I was going to say, because most seasons don't start until halfway to 3/4 of the way through the season. Like a lot of teams end up turning everything around at that point. And I say that as a guy who hasn't followed baseball in a couple years. I mean, the closest I follow baseball is on the PlayStation. So
there's this is knocked down by around 100 games because I think there's 160 something games in the season.
Yeah,
so it's incredible amount. Like they've cut 2/3 of the season is gone.
So here's a question for you,
because you don't want baseball players playing in the cold.
What if? What if they did this every year? Do you think less games they would actually start? People would watch more.
Maybe.
Like as it is now, I can't watch my teams play.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really watch baseball unless it's a super important game.
Like I would if it was on TV. Like if it was on TV.
Yeah, it may like if you put less games in the week.
Yeah.
So say that you didn't have a back-to-back games.
Right.
And then you did one game against this team or two times that you went up against whatever teams. That may make it a better game just because
it actually matters.
The players themselves it actually matters, and the players themselves are going to put that extra energy and not reserve any energy.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
It might wind up being like Deion Sanders coming back. Those some fun baseball games.
Oh man. That's crazy.
So it could. The seasons are ridiculously long for baseball. I don't understand why the seasons are so long. I really don't.
It really frustrates me. How long were seasons back? Like way back in the day, were people still attending? Like back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s? Were there still set 160 games or whatever?
Apparently, they back in like the 80s and 90s, baseball was really starting to trail off.
Yeah, it was bad.
Then you had Sammy Sosa and McGuire.
Right.
Mark McGuire come along.
They were juicing and brought it back.
Yeah, that literally revamped everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, dude.
I remember I started watching again.
Incredible.
I started watching again when that happened. I remember that was crazy just watching it happen. I mean, but I haven't actually sat down and watched baseball since probably a couple years after that.
Yeah.
And I realize people think, oh, it's just a slow game. I mean, look, I'm much more entertained by football. But still, if it's a game on, I'll watch it if it's a good game. But that's the problem. Most games aren't good games. I'd rather be there, actually in the stadium watching it. We had the opportunity a couple years back to go to a Red Sox Orioles game in Fenway Park. Now, number one, those seats are terrible. But it was a fantastic game. Like, it was just fun to be there. And Boston ended up losing in like the 10th inning, I think. But it was just a fun game. You know, actually being there, the folks walking up and down the aisles, selling the stuff, selling popcorn and hot dogs, throwing them at people.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Here's your thing. All right. So I looked up how many games in a season for the 1920s.
Okay.
For a few years, teams played each of their rivals 20 times for a 140 game season.
Really?
In 1920, this was expanded to 22 games, 11 home, 11 away, resulting in 154. So basically, it's been the same amount.
It's been incredibly long
since early. Right, since early. So 100 years ago, they were basically playing the same amount of games.
It's so funny because
That's
you end up
crazy.
you know, with football, who's like 13, 14, 15 games.
Oh, right.
And I understand it's an impact sport. You're getting hurt a lot more. How many games is the NBA playing? How many do they play?
Short season.
No, not this year, but normally. I know they're doing a short season. Are they playing yet?
Almost. They're starting at the end of the month. They're starting back, I think, like July 31st.
Okay, so
like that.
this week they're starting.
All right, 82 games in the NBA.
Really, that's it
for a normal season? Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
So why so few for them, but not so few for, or why so many for baseball? Tradition? I mean, I understand. I guess what I'm trying to look at is how do we make baseball relevant again?
I think the other thing is the NBA is a lot more of a physical sport than baseball is.
Okay.
In terms of
right,
they're running back and forth on the court, so it's not like you can literally go from, you know, playing a night game one night and then playing another game the next day. You're baseball. There's a lot of standing around. There's not a lot of running. There's not a lot of physical activity.
Right.
In terms of, endurance that you need.
And
it's
I mean,
short spurts.
And also with the NBA, you have to wonder what China wants.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Since they are the biggest market for basketball.
I'm actually surprised
NBA will do whatever they want.
I'm surprised the NBA season is actually going to take place in Orlando and not like Beijing.
You and I are thinking exactly the same thing. You and I are thinking exactly the same thing. Now it's funny. It's funny. I don't know.
Did you see? All right. So I've been watching soccer, which is terrible, by the way. I'm just gonna say it is not even remotely the same. Not even remotely.
Well, why? Because the fans not being there?
That's one is fans. The second reason, which I think is the bigger reason, is they're in Orlando. They're outside playing in Orlando.
So it's super warm.
It is just hot.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And they are so winded and so they have to take water breaks, which they don't normally take.
Weird.
Everybody, every team is just doing terribly.
It's the only sport where the refs
painful.
Stop. We all need a water break.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
Have
because they're not standing around like baseball or inside of an air-conditioned stadium.
No comment. No comment.
It must be super, super hard running around for 90 minutes. Oh, that's right. They're the only sport that does that.
Look, man, I do not get. The
NBA? No.
Okay.
No, they get quarterly breaks.
Did you happen to see the Polish this is not a poll joke. The Polish soccer fans?
It's about to be.
This is absolutely brilliant.
No, I got to find that. Where is that?
Absolutely brilliant.
I heard about it, but I didn't see it.
They decided to jump up on cranes in order to view the game. They literally rented cranes. And the brilliant thing is the crane company put their logo all over it. And so it's all on camera. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant.
Oh my goodness. This is like those like the scissor lift cranes.
Oh yeah.
Type of deal.
Full man lift going up 60, 80 feet in the air.
That is awesome.
It's great.
Awesome. I love
that's fans, man.
This I am surprised that America has not done this.
It's great, and the pictures only keep getting better and better and better. Like, I mean, it's amazing.
I love it. This is great.
It's ingenuity.
It's awesome. Yes, this is
absolute ingenuity.
Okay, how did this start? Was it one person, or is this like a group of guys who were like, you know what, we got this idea, who's in? You know, because there's easily, I don't know, maybe 30, 20. Well, let's see here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 12, 13, 14.
There's like 30 people up on these cranes. Maybe 35.
There's 19 cranes. And so these are not just like your telehandle lifts like we've got here in the States. Oh. These are actually truck mounted.
Right.
Because I'm looking at pictures from the back here on Instagram.
This is the normal ones that have like the bucket trucks.
Yep, bucket truck with a massive bucket.
There's like, right.
That's just, it's amazing.
Dude.
Absolutely incredible.
Brilliant. Bravo.
I'm a fan.
Bravo. The Polish is bringing it, man.
Right?
The Polish is bringing it.
The Polish. Anyway, sounds weird.
That's great.
Okay, so did you hear that they are gonna put was it the Major League Baseball Fox? I think it's today.
Okay.
Fake fans.
Yes. So Fox is going all out. So they did this with they did the sound with the Major League Soccer games.
Okay.
So they put in fan noises and stuff like that. So it's a little less awkward to watch on television because there's still background noise. It's less. I've watched the ones on ESPN without it, and it's super, super bizarre. So they're taking it to a whole new level with Major League Baseball because I don't know why. Because I don't know. So they're doing crowd noises, crowd interaction.
Wait, what?
So if someone hits a ball and it's a home run or whatever else, like the crowd will react to the good and the bad. So you're going to hear boos. Now, this is a video game. As far as I know, this is not, the players do not hear any of this. This is all for television. So the players are just going to be playing, so they're not going to be reacting to any of the fans and stuff like this.
They're going to pump in noises. They're going to pump in the video from someone, 2 seasons ago catching a catch.
That'd be so funny. So anyway, so you've got you have that happening with the crowd noises, but they're also going to fill the stadium with digital people. So you can see fans in the stadium, which is super strange. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Dude,
they have a commercial. If you want to watch the commercial, they have a commercial about it. They're very proud about it.
I'll have to watch that during the break.
It looks kind of cool. It is basically a video game with real people playing in the field. So we'll see how it turns out. It sounds a bit bizarre, but nobody really does anything in Major League Baseball anyway. They kind of just sit there all the time anyway. So I don't know. Maybe it'll make it more interesting.
All right. So Cooperstown, New York has the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. And fascinating place, pretty cool place to visit. I went there when I was about 4 or 5 with my grandfather and my father. Maybe I was 6 or 7. And we decided we were going to go one day to check this place out. And so we went. My grandfather had always wanted to go. This was his chance. And so we went.
Was this before or after the wall?
This was after the wall. Every single mural sign thing in there, he had to stop and read. I kid you not. We were at the Baseball Hall of Fame for like it was like 9 hours.
Okay. Have you taken your kids to a museum?
Oh, you like the zoo? Dude, the zoo and like with all the murals and everything, and you're like trying to read the signs, and number one, they can't read it, so they want to know what it says. And so you're
right, and then
you're trying to edit down because you're like, if I can cut these, entire sentence out, I can get done quicker here. And then, and then halfway through, they don't even care anyways. And by that time, you're interested, so you're like, oh, I'm just gonna finish reading it.
Yeah.
And then, so they go walking off, and then come back, and you're still reading it. And they're like, what does it say again?
Dude. So I've taken the kids to. We've been to a few museums in DC. Because they're free.
Oh, fun. Free. Yeah.
So we've taken them to a couple of museums. We've been in the art museums. Dude, don't ever take kids to an art museum. That is a mistake.
No.
That is a mistake.
Literally, they'll ruin.
The guards just glare at you. And then if you try and stop to read one of the art statements or whatever it is, dude, your kids are gone. They're gone. Mm-hmm. So it's like you go into one room, you look around the entire room while they run around the entire room, and then they leave, and you have to chase after them, and you're like through like two of the paintings that you looked at. Here
you go. You finally gotten a chance to look at a Van Gogh, and your kids are there ruining the experience for you.
And the kids are like,
I love my kids.
In the van and go.
I love my kids, but all right.
So the other thing you got to be careful of is when you take them to a Air and Space Museum, if you take them to the annex, because the annex is in a large hangar, which is super cool. But yeah, they have ropes up, and let me tell you, the stuff beeps if your kids go underneath those ropes to go touch the satellite.
How many times? How many times, man?
It beeps a lot.
Goodness. Kids in museums, they're great.
Dude, it's the worst.
It's a fun experience, but man,
it's the worst because they can't touch anything. They can't touch anything.
Right.
And they aren't interested in reading any of the history of any of it.
Yeah.
And why it's important. They look at it and they go, that is really cool. That airplane is super cool. Let's look at this one.
Right. Exactly.
And that's it. And I can't say I was exactly the same way.
Exactly.
I used to get so mad when people would read those stupid snippets. And it was just like, okay, listen, I've seen this. What else is there? I don't want to read about what the history of, whatever it is. I don't want to read that.
It's funny because,
by the way, if you go to an air museum with certain people that I know, it's the same exact way. So I'm just saying. There may be somebody who I know that I went to.
Are you talking about the guy who's incognito now because he's servicing the rods of God above my house?
I may be. Oh. He's one of those people. Like, I like reading things, but somebody named he like gets absorbed into a man. Don't go to DC with Jeff. Just saying. Don't go. We went to the Air and Space Museum, and dude, I lost him, man. He stood there and he read, and then he went to the next one and he read, and it was like every single airplane. And I felt like a little kid again, where it's like, okay, I've seen this. Let's move on.
See, I think you and I could do museums perfectly fine together, because like some things would be interesting to you, some things would be interesting to me,
right?
And some things would be completely useless to me. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, I care about certain things, but I only care about maybe 50% of what's in there to read it. I don't care about it. Jeff's got like the old man dad thing going on, where it's like he just goes from one and then he loses all awareness of what's going on around him. It's like he gets absorbed into like a mind or a time trance, and it's just like, time has just stopped for me until I finish reading this, and then I have to look at the airplane or the spaceship or whatever it was we were looking at. I have to look at this, and then I have to contemplate it. and then I have to go back and I have to reread the last paragraph.
Yes,
and then I have to go back. And then I have to walk around it. And then I go on to the next thing. And you're like, dude, there's other stuff in the museum, man.
So
there's other stuff. It closes in 8 hours.
So I
Although if you take him to the art museum there, though, that completely blows it like reverses, and it completely blows his mind. He just stands in front of the modern art. He stands in front of the modern art, and he's like, I don't get it at all. And I'm like thrilled half to death with it. Dude, this is awesome. I don't understand. This is stupid. I could do this. I could do this at home. I always get that. I don't understand. I could have done this and become a millionaire too. It's like, yeah.
I mean,
Jeff's going to regret not coming on today.
He probably is. How are those rods, Jeff? Still tungsten. Still tungsten. Speaking of Washington, did you see the epic troll that the Redskins owner has thrown down?
No,
okay.
I have not.
So I don't know if you've been living under a rock the last couple weeks, but the Washington Redskins have been petitioned to change their name. And
right.
I don't care. Whatever. If they change their name, whatever.
By not just by people, by companies. So like Nike,
FedEx,
and a bunch of other
FedEx, so I saw
large sponsors.
I saw a letter going around claiming that a bunch of Native American groups were up in arms about this and wanted bad choice of words. Were not happy with the situation and wanted the name changed. And I start looking at the list, and it's all these folks, some people who aren't even related to these tribes, advocating for them. And it felt like it was a whole bunch of, if I can say this in the right context, white knighting. And it was very weird. Because they're like, oh, all these people have signed petitions in order to all these Indian organizations. And it's like, but did they? Anyways, so
yeah.
So Washington Redskins, obviously semi-controversial name depending on who you're talking to. The owner has always said he will never change the name of the Washington Redskins. And here you have the owner. What is his name?
Yeah, who is the owner?
Man, I am drawing a complete blank here.
Yep, because we don't have Google.
I know. Good grief! Who's the owner of the Washington Redskins? We've got listeners out there screaming right now, going, "You've got to be kidding me!"
Daniel Snyder.
That's right.
Yep.
So he said he's never going to change the name.
Right.
So last year, a reporter for ESPN, I think it was, said he's not going to call them the Washington Redskins. He's going to call them the Washington Football Team.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, we spend 2 weeks trying to figure out a name for the Washington Redskins. A new name, new logo, new mascot.
Right.
And what does Snyder come out with?
I don't know. Did he come out with Washington Football Team?
The Washington Football Team.
That's awesome.
They have no logo.
I like it.
They have no mascot. And they don't even have, I guess they don't even have team colors yet, officially. Because that may be changed as well.
I hope they literally just call it the Washington Football Team and just leave it at that.
This may be the most epic troll.
That would be really funny.
I'm telling you, it is so funny.
That would be really funny.
They are literally called the Washington Football Team for this entire year.
Nice.
And they unveiled helmets and uniforms and everything.
Nice.
They are owning, it's so amazing.
Dude.
They're going to put all the merchandise up on Fanatics and NFL Shop in the next couple weeks.
Well, I mean, they got what they wanted. So.
Okay, so that was the thing. So FedEx
I want to see what this.
FedEx was complaining about it.
What, that it's just the Washington football team?
No, FedEx was complaining about the name.
Right. Yes, I'm aware of that.
So FedEx was complaining about the name, and then it turns out that the FedEx guy is part owner, I guess. The owner of FedEx is part owner.
Oh.
Or the president or something. Yeah.
Interesting.
It adds to the cacophony of interestingness.
That is interesting.
So I don't know. I mean, what's
yeah.
It's just so weird.
That's so funny.
The Washington football team.
That dude.
I'm telling you, it's a troll. It's an absolute troll.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, they couldn't come up with a name. They didn't know what to do. They couldn't come up with anything. No. This is the name.
No.
He's like, fine.
There. Now we're perfectly uncontroversial.
We are uncontroversial except for the fact that Washington is in the name.
Right. Which, if you want to go after that, then all of a sudden you're going to be like,
right.
Yeah. I mean,
Washington.
I guess that'll happen whenever they tear down the monument. So.
Washington was a slave owner, man.
Yep.
Just saying.
Interesting. All right. Cool.
So there's that. When we come back,
we're going to do sports trivia.
Sports trivia when we get back?
Yeah, I have some. It's
nice.
It's not really as exciting as
I'm not good at sports trivia. I'm not good at this.
I wanted to do at the end, I wanted to do like products liability, as in, if that camera explodes all over that guy, we'd sue the camera company and their insurance company, you see.
How did Yale out-rebound Baylor?
You go up and grab the ball off the rim when it comes off, and then you grab it with two hands, and you come down with it, and that's considered a rebound. So they got more of those than we did.
There's a t-shirt of a headhunter a guy brought me from Borneo, which was kind of nice of him. He couldn't get me a shrunken head, so I got a t-shirt.
Dude, the guy they're interviewing about the rebound sounds like the same guy that's like, I didn't know what to do. I dropped my hot pocket.
Right. But he didn't drop a rebound. Okay, I know you're gonna attack me with sports trivia, but I have one for you. What?
Right. Hot dogs.
How do I? No, that's not the
Popcorns.
answer.
Cracker Jacks. Have you had Cracker Jacks lately? They suck.
I don't eat Cracker Jacks. I don't like the caramel.
They're terrible. No,
I don't like caramel popcorn.
That's not why. They're just terrible. They taste terrible. If you like Cracker Jacks, there is something wrong with you.
Well,
because there are so many. You can go to Walmart. I'm sorry, I just went on a rant. You can go to Walmart and pick up $1 box of caramel corn that tastes better than the same priced Cracker Jacks, and they don't even give you a good prize anymore. It's like, it's a little tattoo of a little Cracker Jack guy that won't even stick to your skin. What is wrong with you Cracker Jack people? Why is Cracker Jack still a thing?
Oh my goodness.
All right. Anyway, I'm done with my rant.
We learned Ozzy's.
I do have a bitterness against Cracker Jacks. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So my random piece of informational history that I learned last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Anyways, I forgot to share it with you. Mike Leach.
Yes.
Mike Leach.
Yes.
Is a lawyer.
What?
Mike Leach is a lawyer.
Really?
Yes. He has a law degree.
What type of lawyering did he do?
Apparently, like that whole products liability thing was not just a shtick for the.
No.
I guess. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mike Leach in 1986 earned his Juris Doctorate from Pepperdine University School of Law in Malibu, California. He's one of the most prominent graduates of the United States Sports Academy in Daphne, Alabama, where he earned a master's in sports science degree in 1988. Like, it makes sense. Like, everything makes sense now.
Dude, yes.
The fact that he can just talk for hours and hours and hours about nothing.
Yes.
It makes sense.
Dude, it is 4D chess.
Yes.
He's been playing 4D chess and no one's ever known that.
Right.
That's
it's so crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's so wild. I mean,
That's awesome.
So Coach Leach, lawyer.
Oh my goodness. All right, cool.
Anyways, there you go.
So I got some sports trivia. Trivia. Hold on,
I'm not good at this stuff.
It's all right. It's really easy.
Okay.
It's really easy. All right. Who was the first baseball player in the United States? No, I'm just kidding. It's not that.
Babe Ruth.
No.
Oh.
No, it wasn't Babe.
Oh.
It wasn't the okay. All right. This is actually something I was curious about because with baseball starting back,
okay,
baseball uses a if you've ever been to a baseball game, they use an ungodly amount of baseballs.
Right, they do.
And they are constantly switching out baseballs.
And they're all rubbed with that beautiful red clay.
Right, which is very specific and can only be found by like one family in the middle of somewhere who,
I think it's collusion, but anyways.
I mean, if you can get away with it.
I'm just saying.
It's America 2020.
No, I agree. Look, I'm not complaining.
So I looked up how many balls are used per game in every sport.
Oh man.
So these are averages of how many balls or how many
interesting.
How many items are used? Because I guess one of them's a puck, so it's not.
This is completely random. I'm fascinated by this.
I know. I was too. So okay, here we go. We're gonna start with basketballs.
Basketball.
So this is the average amount of balls used per game.
Am I supposed to guess these?
You are.
Oh, okay. This is awesome.
Yes.
I like
All
this.
right. So
I have some trivia for you later in the show.
Oh yes.
It's gonna get even more gnarly.
All right.
Okay.
So for basketball, how many balls do you think are the normal amount? That's actually a pretty good guess. It's 3.
Really? That's it?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, it makes sense, I guess. What are they doing to the ball? It's not like they're ruining it.
Right. And each team apparently at the beginning of the season gets, I think it's like 75 balls. And then before
they can only use those balls?
They can only use those balls in the season. And then before each game, they give the referee one of the balls or 2 of the balls or something or whatever that they want to use.
Right.
And each team gives them the balls. And then they use those, they inspect them and then they use those balls. It's pretty much kind of the same way for a lot of these sports. It's
interesting.
They have an allotment that they get at the beginning of the season and then they use them. There's a couple that they don't, but
interesting.
For basketball is one of those that they do. All right. So for soccer, how many balls per game are used in soccer? Averaged out.
How many balls? I mean, it's not like they're wearing them out.
Right.
I'll still go like 6.
14.
14, no kidding. Because I mean, they show up at the field with a giant bag of balls.
Right. So, and then balls get lost, get kicked out or whatever.
Oh, that's true. I'm
sure there's criteria where it's like if a ball gets kicked into the stands, they probably don't reuse that ball
until it's inspected or something.
Maybe there's some criteria. I mean, I know they do reuse it, but I don't know at what point they pull the ball and then get a new one.
Interesting. Okay, how many golf balls are used in a...
I don't actually... Golf is not on here.
Man.
Probably because they lose too many of them.
I was going to say that too.
All right, so here we go. Ready for hockey.
Okay,
how many hockey pucks are used? Is a hockey puck considered a ball?
No, but I'll go with this just for the entertainment factor.
What would that be considered? Is that the only sport? Like, I can't think of anything.
I'm going to go with 10 on this. 10 pucks. All right,
here we go. Ready? 30 to 45.
Holy cow. Why?
Per game.
Why?
Per game. I don't know.
Those are expensive too.
I don't know. They lose them in the stands. I have no idea.
They're not flinging 40 at the
I don't know, man.
Spectators.
I'm just saying 30 to 45. And all of this information I got from Mashable. .com.
So how many
It's an article
footballs?
on
How many
National-
footballs?
All right, here we go. Footballs are the same thing. They have so many footballs that they get, and then they present however many footballs at the beginning
Right.
of the beginning of the.
And apparently the refs aren't checking for inflation.
they are.
Wait.
They actually, yeah. Just not.
So how
just
does that
not against
work?
The Patriots.
How does
It's
that
gonna
work
be
then?
against. It's not going to be. Listen, the only team that's exempt from that now is going to be the Buccaneers. So. So anyway, so they present these balls. Each team presents the balls at the beginning of the thing. They get inspected, and then they they have them in their bags for their side. They get randomly inspected at the beginning of the game, and then at halftime they inspect.
Right.
Some guy comes over, grabs one of the balls, and inspects a random ball just to make sure. Because Tom Brady. So
Tom Brady likes his balls soft.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Football. Well, I don't know what you're saying there.
I don't know what you're saying. All right. So how many is your guess for a football game?
Oh man.
Average NFL football game. How many balls are we?
I'm gonna go
through?
14.
That was a pretty good guess. Actually, it wasn't. 42 to 54.
Really?
Balls. Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. 42 to 54 balls.
Good grief.
And now we have the last one that I have on this list is baseball. The number of baseballs, average number of baseballs used in one Major League Baseball game.
It's like
how many we're looking at?
75.
Not even close.
No? Really?
10 to 12 dozen.
Oh.
Yep.
10 to 12 dozen.
An average of around 100 to 144 balls.
Wow.
In one.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, you're fouling them off. You're
one baseball game. Anytime it hits the dirt, there's a new ball. Anytime the pitcher decides that he doesn't like whatever ball it is, there's a new ball. Anytime that it gets hit, there's a new ball. Anytime, like it's crazy the amount of
that's
balls
wild
that are used. So there you go. There's your random trivia for the day. The baseball, like I think the one that really got me was the football one.
Yeah.
The football one really got me, and the hockey pucks got me too.
Yeah, that's completely bizarre.
Right, because I wouldn't think that, like, dude, hockey pucks are hard, man.
Yeah, right.
There's not like, I don't know how much damage do those sticks do to those pucks to change their velocity or whatever else they're concerned about. Baseball, I get because they're a bunch of ninnies who don't want to play with just, like 1 dozen balls. They're like,
right. They
don't
want
to
at least
they don't want to sandlot it.
dozen.
That's what they should change in baseball. They should make them sandlot the ball. It doesn't matter. You play with unless the ball gets lost.
You play until it's lost.
You play until that ball is literally it's the skin is falling off that ball. That's how much.
What other rules would you change in baseball?
I don't know, man. I'm just wondering. There's so many things that makes baseball slow.
One of my biggest issues is how long it takes them to pitch the stupid ball. They just stand there and they're like, consider the option. It's like it turns into golf at that point, and golf is my nap sport.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like I turn on the golf game on a Sunday afternoon so I can nap.
Definitely.
And it's wonderful. I love it. Absolutely love it. However,
dude, I don't know what you would change in baseball because it's just, I don't know. Maybe like the times, like shorten those times. I know they have time limits on that.
Full contact.
Yes. Absolutely.
The other team can keep you from catching the ball.
You know what they should do? they should change the ball and like make it rubber.
Ooh.
And then that way make it a rubber ball, take away the gloves, and make it so that you can hit the person with the ball and get them out.
Basically, this cricket.
No.
Yeah, it's basically cricket. No. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Cricket, you still have to tag the person with the ball.
Do you? I thought you could hit him with it.
I don't think you can.
I thought you could hit him with it.
Yeah, but cricket's like I still don't understand cricket.
Cricket's a weird sport.
I do not understand.
All of a sudden, like 4 days later, they're still doing the same game, and both teams are at 0-0.
Right.
And everyone's like,
And they're all sitting around
bated
drinking.
breath,
it's like-
drinking beer, and
there's
they're like, yeah.
There's literally like 10 people playing the game. It's like one hitter
Uh-huh.
and like, I don't know, however many people are in the outfield. I don't know, infield, whatever it's called. And
Dude, I have no
everybody
idea.
is standing around. The only two people that are doing anything are the hitter and the pitcher and
Uh-huh.
the catcher. The only three
Until the
people.
ball's hit, which could
Yes.
take hours.
Right. And then the rest of the team, what are they doing? They're sitting over drinking tea or beer.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's so random, man.
And they get paid for this. They
It's
get
so
paid for
random.
this. That's all I'm
Right.
saying. They get paid for
Right.
this.
Right. I think the longest, let's look up the longest cricket game
Brilliant.
because I'm pretty sure it was like several days.
I thought it was like 10 days or something. I remember reading this somewhere. It might
we
have been
go.
on the
All right, trivia. Oh, here you go. All right. The longest cricket test match in history is played between South Africa and England in Durban. Today marks the anniversary. Okay, so
how long was it?
it was 9 days
Yep.
total.
Yep.
9 days.
Yep.
Dude, y'all got nothing else to do. We thought baseball was slow. Baseball is
It's
like,
like the longest baseball game was 42 innings or something.
it's like good grief.
And it's like that still wasn't 9 days.
Right. That was still 1.5 days of play.
Right. Yeah, they had to pause the game and go home and come back. But still, it wasn't.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Right, dude.
Ridiculous.
So, yeah, there you go.
Ozzy, listener of the show, Patrick, sent us a link
I saw this.
To-
This is good.
what's being called the Disney World of Paintball.
I am so into this.
And it just so happens to be an hour from where you live.
Yeah, it's about an hour north of where I live. It was kind of hard to find actually because it's not complete yet.
Right. I looked
they
through the
have their-
Google Maps and I
Yeah,
found
they have
the
their website up, but it's not really. It's kind of hard to find. So I'm pretty sure that it's about an hour north of where I am.
yeah. So I've actually found the lot where it's being built on. It's just an empty lot, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks fantastic.
It looks fantastic. And you told me you have never played paintball.
I haven't. I've fired a paintball gun numerous times.
My goodness.
Hundreds
What?
of times probably, but I have never
Dude,
competed in a paintball
How
match.
have you never played paintball? Paintball is one of the greatest sports ever.
Yeah, I
It is
I haven't.
simultaneously terrifying and awesome.
I admit
I've gotten shot in the neck with paintballs, man, and you've never played paintball?
No, never, never, ever.
So
I think
all right.
I think I've been hit once by one,
Oh yeah,
but
Oh, yeah,
I've
they're great.
never played,
they're great.
in a match. I don't think.
Yes.
Like I'm trying to think. It's like one of those things that maybe I forgot, but
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I remember at
I had-
camp one year we weren't allowed to fight each other, but we could shoot the counselors. And so the
What?
counselors would run around in this mat in this
That's-
zone area, and
That's pretty funny.
we could shoot the counselors. Yeah, and
That's pretty
they weren't
funny.
very happy with it.
That's
It only
pretty funny.
it only lasted like 2 years.
Yeah.
Um,
The parents and the counselors probably freaked.
probably.
Oh man, that's what, dude. That is what builds courage right there.
Paintball.
Makes you a man.
So I've always wanted to do like the tactical airsoft, like they do over in Europe.
That's fun too.
They do some major scenarios over there.
I've done a couple airsoft games, and those are pretty fun actually.
So tell
So-
me about this facility here for paintball. I mean, is it all that?
It looks like it's gonna be, yeah. Because I like the size of the fields are monstrous, and that's what normally I from my experience of a few paintball places and then playing woods ball mostly. So is that you have normally it's about maybe an acre's worth of room on
Okay,
a paintball field.
right. This looks like it's easily like 3
Oh,
acres, 4
Yeah.
acres.
Oh yeah. And there's several fields. There's several different fields.
Gotcha.
And then they have the guy built
Oh, I see that.
and used Oh, they used cargo containers.
So it looks like that's one
make-
field, right? The cargo containers
Right,
looks
the
like one
cargo
field.
containers is part of one field. And then there's the cargo container castle is part of one field.
Okay, so I'm seeing the cargo containers, the big cargo containers all leaned up against each other where you can run through them and climb on top of them and all that stuff. There's a separation between the two, and then there's like the castle siege one with a bunch of barriers lined up so you can like siege the castle.
Yes. Dude, this is epic.
That looks good.
This is epic, man. I'm not gonna lie.
And it's a big castle. It's a 12,000 square foot castle.
Yeah, it's huge. It is.
I mean, that's nuts.
I like this. I am very, very much into
I
this,
like how they've set up all the outside the castle, all the little buildings there
and everything. Yeah,
they're all almost exactly the same, because how you can't describe to your partner or your teammate where someone is.
Right.
Like, oh, they're in the brown hut. Well, every hut is brown. Everyone has logs.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Dude, it looks awesome. So
they've spent a lot of time and effort on this. It's amazing.
Yep, and it's not complete yet. If you watch the video on it, the guy, dude, it's so funny. He's like, this is the perfect sport for during quarantine, because you have to stay, you want to stay at least 10 feet from anybody, and you're wearing a mask. He's like, and you get to get out your anger by shooting people. Like, it's the perfect quarantine sport. And he's not wrong. It looks awesome.
So my only complaint would be how hot it is, though, with a mask on and like 8 layers of clothes.
That's life, man. That's life. And I'm sure this is going to be open year round. So, you're only going to be encountering that during the summertime. Which year round, this thing is going to be really cool, I'm sure. Well, I'm assuming it's year round.
If it's as good as it seems, I mean, I'm thinking road trip.
So far, this is probably the best paintball setup that I've seen. Normally it's really small, like, you have some huts and things that you could run through and stuff like that, but it's never anything this epic and big. I mean, you could easily fit probably 100 players on this field easily.
So there is a place down in Plattsmouth, Nebraska, I think, and they claim to be I'm pretty sure. Yes, they claim to be the largest paintball location or whatever in Nebraska. Anyways, they'll do up to 500 people.
Oh yeah,
up to 500 people in one field.
Yep,
and it's huge.
Yep.
Like I think they said 100 acres or something. I mean, it's nuts. Goodness. It's nuts.
Jeez, yeah. Holy cow.
Let me see here if I can find the
Now my favorite way of playing is like I like doing the buildings, and like the enclosed space is nice. What we used to do is I had a friend's who had land that was in the woods.
Right.
And it was like, there was a little creek down at the bottom and hills on both sides, and it was all wooded and everything, and it was probably about, I don't know, maybe 5 acres or something like that. And we used to play capture the flag with paintball and play woods ball. And dude,
so that's basically what this place is here in Nebraska.
Epic, man. It's so epic because everybody's in camo. You get the bejeeber scared out of you by like the one dude that's walking in camo, and then like nobody sees him.
Right.
And man, it's awesome. It is so fun. So yeah, my partiality is to woods ball, but that's just
that's what that one is.
I had the coolest gun, man. I did. I actually gave it away because I haven't used it in years. But it looked like an AR-15. It was awesome.
Oh, that's cool. I'm reading here. I'm looking here at this other place here in Nebraska. It looks like they actually have fields set up.
Yeah.
Big inflatable targets, or not targets, but what do you call them?
Oh, the blow up things.
Yeah. Oh, so it's called speedball.
Yes. Yeah.
It's called speedball, airball, and the other's woods ball and timber.
Yes.
And then
Now-
the concept, which is scenario-based fields.
Right. Now, speedball.
Interesting.
Speedball is the one you don't want to get into because you'll never ever make it.
Right, those guys, the double
that's-
triggers. And
Yeah,
the,
that's the guys with like the double or the triple trigger because you can't have an automatic paintball gun.
right.
So you have like 3 triggers on, the grip, and every time you push one of the triggers, it releases a paintball.
Right.
So these guys are shooting literally like 30 paintballs a second at you.
That's
And
crazy.
it's ridiculous. And of course they're super good at it. It's not literally just lunging paintballs. It's accuracy too. So
Right.
don't ever get into that because you'll never get anywhere unless you have a lot of time to do that. So
Well, that's pretty good. This one's got a really good deal. $43 includes all rental and 500 paintballs.
yeah,
3-year refills.
you'll be
That's
buying
awesome.
more paintballs.
Oh, well,
You'll be
yeah.
yeah.
But that's
You'll-
awesome.
You'll
That's
definitely be
pretty
buying
slick.
more paintballs. But yeah, dude, super fun. Super fun.
Huh.
If you ever have the opportunity to go paintballing is great. It hurts so much,
Might have to do that.
but it's completely worth it. It's completely worth
Huh.
it. Like the fear and the adrenaline and excitement of it. And then you have your stupid mask, and of course the mask always fogs up,
Right. Well,
whatever else. And you can't take it off because you can't fix it. And then all of a sudden, it's absolutely thrilling. 100%.
Major concern looking at these guys here with their masks on and their
Yep.
necks exposed.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yep, I got shot in the neck.
Ouch.
That's why I bought a neck guard.
Ouch.
You can buy these neck guards that are just, it's just a piece of like
Yeah,
basically
well,
foam.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah.
I would
I
would
would
definitely do that.
Just so you don't get. Most of the time, you're not trying to get headshots or you're doing body shots but I mean, it happens. It happens.
Man,
So
that's crazy.
yeah, there's a lot that goes into paintball, and it's awesome.
That's wild.
So, yep.
Huh. Well, there you go. Paintball. I never thought we'd spend an entire segment talking about paintball. And we did.
We did.
It's so weird. Never even done it.
That's sad.
I'm sorry, Ozzy.
My favorite word is the word.
We got an issue in America. Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
Back up, you creep.
And Bernie Sanders might run. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all.
Wow.
President Bush, man, he gets me every time.
Practice their love with
He
women
gets
across
me every
the country.
time. Dude, they were so forgiving to him for his slip-ups. Like,
In the last,
he made the most awkward things. Like he would say,
oh, yeah.
and you knew he didn't mean what he was saying, but he couldn't figure out how to say it.
in the last
It
3.5
was just like,
years, I have never
oh, my
met
Goodness.
a more interesting group of people than Democrats who want him back. Hated him when he was in office, but want him back in office now.
Interesting.
Ah,
Never mind.
yeah, I know. Ozzy, interesting happenings in New York City.
Yes, New York City.
New York City.
What about it?
The Planned Parenthood Center of Greater New York says it will remove the name of pioneering birth control advocate Margaret Sanger
Isn't that
from its
amazing?
Manhattan clinic because
As
of
they-
her harmful connections to the eugenics movement.
And the KKK.
Sanger was one of the founders of the Planned Parenthood of America more than a century ago,
Yeah.
and has long provoked controversy
Yeah.
because of her support of eugenics, a movement that promoted selective breeding and often targeted people of color and the disabled. The clinic has been named after Sanger, will now be known as the Manhattan Health Center. So if we just purge the name, it's
Right.
okay.
Right. Yes.
Eugenics
You know
is
that?
okay by a different name.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're
Yes.
clear on that. I just want to make sure we're good.
Yes.
As long as we're good on
As
that.
long as you call it abortion and don't tell anyone that you're targeting a specific group of people because you're racist, then it's fine. Obviously. And 100 years has to pass.
Right. You know, the funny thing is the only people who get a pass on racism are the Democrats. Seriously.
This gets me so
the only people who get a pass on being racist are the Democrats. You know, without refighting the war of northern aggression, otherwise known to the people of the North as the Civil War, it's funny how, what was it, 4 weeks ago, Nancy Pelosi pulled a bunch of statues of former Democratic speakers of House who were, or House members who were members of either the KKK or were part of the what she calls the revolution of the Southern states.
How do they quietly do this and no one says a thing? Dude, if the Republicans did that, there will be so many
I know.
News companies that would be calling them out on that, and they would make such a big deal about it.
It's like, I don't know if anyone remembers, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery.
Right.
They were the party of slavery and the party of segregation.
Did you read that stuff about? Did you read that thing about Lyndon B? I think it was Johnson. Was it Lyndon B. Johnson?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, dude, you want to talk about some questionable stuff? Holy crap!
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, he basically said that he would, turn all of the black people with time into Democrats, except he didn't use quite those nice terms.
No, he didn't.
So,
but we won't use that other term on the radio.
Yeah,
because we're not those people.
But hey, we're fine. We're perfectly fine with that because nobody remembers history. And you know what?
Well,
we'll just take Margaret Sanger's name off of it and it'll be fine because the company that she founded didn't have anything to do with trying to get rid of black people. Nothing at all. It's just coincidence that that's the most targeted people at this point for Planned Parenthood, and that the fact that they're in the neighborhoods that those specific people group are in. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Nothing at all.
We're just remove her name. It'll be fine. No one will ever see it. It's
no one
fine.
will know. It's ridiculous. I guess the double standard within the Democratic Party really kills me on this, because they will go after a conservative or Republican or whatever you want to call them for anything that has happened in their past, and yet we just purge the Democrats. They're fine. No, we don't even look at that. You can't go after someone for what they've done in their past. You can't, that's not allowed.
Right.
But a conservative now.
Well, it's right. And they've backed everybody into this corner that we were talking about or texting about that the poll that they did about how that like 60% of the poll where it's like 60% of conservatives were afraid to talk about their political opinions right now because of getting in trouble either at their job or getting fired or whatever else. So they're just staying quiet.
And I would argue that it's even worse for us because we have very nuanced political views that a lot of times the right and the left don't like. And so we are literally canceled a lot of times by both sides. Yes. And it is rough.
Yeah. And then you get thrown into one or the other. That's the problem. Is you're more in the middle and you're like, well, I see this is okay here, this is okay here. not that we agree mostly with one side or the other,
No.
because I'm sure we lean way on the conservative side of all of this, but you get lumped in with both sides depending on what it is.
Oh yeah,
but,
it's like when progressives,
that's a shocking statistic.
When progressives call me a Republican and conservatives call me a progressive, I mean, it's like, wait, what? This is a very confusing place to be. And it's all because of the nuanced political views. And it's like, because we don't because we don't knee-jerk react and swing one side super hard immediately when we hear, the latest fake piece of news coming out from Fox News or CNN.
It's that 48-hour rule, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it sit. Best piece of advice for Facebook or Twitter or whatever you're doing is let whatever it is sit for 48 hours at least.
Like,
figure it out, because
I have no
so
problem. I've got no problem with breaking news. Mention it, but don't analyze it or come up with opinions on what happened until at least 48 hours after.
Right.
You can't do it.
How has no one done this? How has no one figured this out yet? Because this always happens. This is the prime example for this are the shootings.
Yeah.
Anytime that the news reports a shooting of some kind, let it sit.
Yep.
Let it sit. You can have an opinion on it, but let it sit and be willing to change your opinion depending on what comes out. Because a lot of times what happens is everybody gets infuriated immediately, and then everybody can be wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting the whole story. You're getting whatever that news organization is pushing, whether purposeful or just because of a lack of research or knowledge about the situation. They do not know what they are talking about at that current moment.
So I was watching last night.
The prime example is that that one kid, the kid that had that lawsuit,
Sandman, Nicholas Sandman,
settled. Yes,
with the Washington Post. He sued the Washington Post for $250 million. So if you guys don't remember, Sandman was the kid who stood there. He was there in Washington, D.C. with his Catholic school group and was being screamed at by some guy who turned out to be an activist, who that's his lot in life. That's his job, is to inflame people and enrage people. And the Washington Post was like, oh, look, this kid's standing there with his smug look, and you should have seen what he did before, and he's smug because he's a racist, blah, blah, blah. No, the kid was just an upstanding dude who was being screamed at by this old man. Who was being screamed at by this old man. He literally wasn't doing anything. They were waiting for their bus. And the Washington Post created this narrative about this kid, about how racist he was and how bad he was, and they just lost their lawsuit.
Yep.
He was a 17-year-old kid who sued them back last year, and he turned 18 yesterday, and the Washington Post immediately settled. Settled.
Yes. And do you think that any news organization who reported that story is going to give that equal opportunity? I'm sure that was nightly news or whatever it is. Are they going to give that the equal opportunity to say, hey, you know what? This kid sued and got vindicated in what happened.
Right.
No, they're not. They're not going to do it because they don't want to ruin their reputation of, oh, you know what? Hey, they don't want people catching on to, hey, you know what? Maybe the news isn't as accurate as I think it is.
In the Washington Post defense, now I truly believe they're wrong, but a settlement does not mean you're guilty. A settlement does not mean you're guilty. Sometimes settlements are made just to get the pressure off. I understand that. It's a strategic decision. But given the circumstances,
it's made because they don't want to be
in the limelight.
Story come out, right.
Because in court they would have lost. In court they would have lost this. They would have lost,
and that might have been that may have been a bigger story than quietly sweeping it under the rug. Which I'm not saying they did, but
But look,
Yeah.
I'm also a big fan of the American judicial system. I believe in the system that we have at this point, that it can bring justice. And I guess my point is it was settled out of court. It's done. It's taken care of. However, the Washington Post came up last night in a movie I was watching. And so I watched about 3/4 of it. Kill the Messenger. And this is a movie with Jeremy Renner about the Nicaragua Contra situation and the CIA bringing in drugs into the U.S. or paying the cartels to bring in drugs and funding the cartels to support the Contras in Nicaragua to keep the Soviets out of Nicaragua. Okay.
Dude,
Anyways,
really weird with the goatee.
What's that? Oh, he does, but it works. It works. It's a great film so far. You should check it out. So, anyways, the Washington Post made it their mission to prove this guy wrong, and to prove that he. And so they're literally sitting there in a meeting in the movie, and I don't know how factual this is. But based on current events and knowing what the Washington Times does, okay, I have to say it lends some credence to this. They're sitting in a meeting and they ask the editor, how are we going to spin this? And it's like, well, we're going to prove him wrong. We're going to say that he's wrong. We're going to discredit him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically where they ended it. And the one of the guys goes, okay, I'm going to take this upstairs and get approval for it. And heads up to the owners to get approval to do this, to discredit the reporter that came out with the news of the Nicaragua Contra incident, which happened. We know now that it happened. The federal government was intentionally turning a blind eye, and the CIA was supporting a war in Nicaragua. Look at the
freaking Epstein stuff, man. The Epstein stuff about 2000.
I know.
Dude,
2008.
Stopped all of this.
I know.
The FBI knew about it and gave the man a deal.
You think there's not something going on there?
Come on.
Okay. Did we talk about this last week on the show? The judge?
Epstein didn't kill himself, though.
No, he didn't. Neither did Maxwell. But the judge's husband did, or the judge's son did.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know if we talked about this on the show. Dude, if we did, I apologize.
I don't think we did, because I think it came out on did
it come
Monday
out Sunday or Monday? Okay, so there is a judge in a related case to the Epstein trial. Now this involves. I realize that we're treading in very hot water here on the show.
We're going Illuminati on you.
Okay. I'm not making any speculations or anything. I'm presenting the facts.
That's how I feel at this point in time.
But I
agree with you.
I know. So, okay, so there's a court case going on right now. Let's see. It's a how would you say? It's a judge who's involved with an Epstein case.
Yes. Yes.
And she
a female judge.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm getting this right. So this is Deutsche Bank and Epstein. There's a Deutsche Bank Epstein thing going on right now, where Deutsche Bank they were involved in the finances of Jeffrey Epstein, and they were told back in 2008 that they needed to cease and desist, not help Epstein with any of his monies. And they didn't. And so there's a bunch of investors going after Deutsche Bank right now. And the problem is that throughout this trial, stuff about Epstein is going to come out that had never come out before. Okay? Right. Facts are going to be exposed. We're going to see what's going on. And we're going to get a new look into what Epstein had been doing.
Right.
All of a sudden, a gunman posing as a FedEx driver shows up on this was last Sunday. Shows up in North Brunswick, New Jersey.
Yep.
Shoots the federal judge's son and then wounds the husband. Okay. Maybe it was
the husband died, right?
Did the husband die? I know the son died.
Maybe.
The son was killed. Husband was badly wounded. I'm not sure if he passed yet. The FedEx driver, it was assumed, was maybe a disgruntled person who had been, convicted by the judge. That's what the original claims were. No motive, they claimed.
Maybe.
No motive. It's just odd. And then all of a sudden they find the gunman posing as a FedEx driver killed. He was killed, reported dead after the shooting.
You mean committed suicide with 2 shots to the back of his head?
Well, then you're talking about Clinton style.
I'm not saying that.
I am.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, like this makes me feel so crazy and so like excessive. I feel like that we're going to find the Illuminati at the end of this, and that's crazy to me. But like, this is so.
Everyone said
way too many coincidences.
Everyone said the U.S. didn't fund the war in Nicaragua. Okay? Everyone claimed that.
What does that have to do with Epstein killing himself?
Now, I'm getting to that. We are told time and time again, there's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. There's no conspiracy. It doesn't exist.
This is said by the man behind the curtain.
When there is enough,
after while we're looking at him, this is what the man is saying, and the news organizations are going, "Oh, that's fine, yeah, everything's fine."
That's what I'm saying. It's like the news organizations are like, "We're not sure why the guy died with 2 shots to the back of the head and he committed suicide. We don't know."
How did he die?
It was quote
I don't know
an apparent suicide. It was a shooting.
Dude, I totally called that.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
Honestly, didn't know how he died.
And so the question is,
shady.
If the point being, how do you expect a fair trial for Maxwell when the judge of the Maxwell case now knows that these people can get to anyone?
Right.
I'm telling you, that's what was.
So if they're just to go all total tinfoil. So if they're going to go after this lady for something that had to deal with it, how much more are they going to be able to go after whatever judge that is that's got Maxwell's case?
And every single movie, who do they go after? Do they go after the person or do they go after the family? That's all I'm saying.
They go after the family.
They go after the family.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Right. And this lady must be devastated. I feel terrible for this.
You think she's not going to recuse herself from the case?
Must be terrifying. Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
Dude, definitely. I would bet you she's been in hiding for the past week.
Oh yeah, she's got protection.
For a while.
She's got protection and everything.
But then you're talking about like, oh my goodness, we're getting into craziness here. But
I know.
Yeah, but this is the problem is you don't know how far the rabbit hole goes, and with this Epstein stuff, there seems to be a lot of very, very rich people or very powerful government officials that do not want stuff getting out.
Yeah.
Like this is like one of those movies where it's like, oh, it's the government dude that's the sleaze bag and is trying to do this, except it's fake. And all of a sudden you're kind of like, wait, this is potentially plausible? And you feel crazy saying that. But this is exactly what a blockbuster movie would look like.
It's like, remember, all the news organizations. Yes.
You can way too easily interconnect all of this stuff together.
Yes.
And that's the problem. And that's the thing where I feel crazy saying.
Remember, all the news organizations as of right now are saying Jeffrey Epstein died in his Manhattan jail cell last August in an apparent suicide. Every media outlet is saying that. Guys, remember the facts of the case. The facts of the case are this. Jeffrey Epstein put in jail. His cellmate, strangely enough, was removed that day. Epstein is on suicide watch with cameras on him.
The cameras
magically stopped working, and the two guards just happened to fall asleep.
Right.
I'm telling you, that's an awful lot of happening. That is an awful lot of happening. And we're sitting there. And this is where it gets really into the weeds in the conspiracy theory, because I'm sitting there going,
people not see this coming?
I'm like, this whole Epstein thing happens. You've got what I saw last night on the movie. You've got other situations throughout our history, throughout the U.S. history, that are questionable. And I'm sitting there going, okay, now, what about this coronavirus? What about it?
Fair enough.
Like, what are we not being told?
That, but okay.
I'm asking the question, like, what? Why not? Why not? They're willing to lie to us about other stuff.
We're so far down the rabbit hole.
I know.
We're gonna come out the other side of the earth.
You ain't doing it right unless you complete the job, Ozzy. Keep digging,
need Jeff. Man, we need to be reeled back in. This is like
now. In our defense,
we're gonna be completely different categorization on YouTube now.
In our defense, Jeff has agreed with us on most of this.
It's true.
Which is
it's true.
Completely weird.
Just super bizarre. Yeah,
because we didn't.
Super bizarre.
Jeff earlier this week is like,
of course, he's not here to defend himself in that view that we just gave.
Of course
so
not.
Yeah, it's conspiracy upon conspiracy theory.
It is.
We knew we were going to talk about these conspircy theories and that Jeff would ruin our lives.
That's right. So we told him, take a trip, buddy. Take a trip.
To be on a trip this week.
Now,
while we're talking about this.
In my defense, I'm looking up. My roof is still above me. The rods have not struck. I don't think I'm stepping out on this.
Hold on. If a rod of God came down through your roof, you would not have time to be like, oh yeah, my roof's still there. I'm fine.
Just saying.
Gone.
Just saying.
It's just gone. Your screen just goes black.
Yeah.
Like it really is. And please, if you have an opinion, if you have a fine opinion about this, because we feel like we're crazy on this.
I feel nuts. Like I feel absolutely crazy. Yes.
Stating this, and yet I keep going and looking back and going, I mean, is it crazy if it's true? And I know. I feel like this is how who was it? Mad Mike. I feel like we're turning into Mad Mike.
Yeah. See, the
Earth is flat, people. The Earth is flat.
We now know how Kanye feels right now dealing with the Kardashians.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. All right. I could. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We're jumping into this now.
I'm just saying,
dude. This is a train wreck upon a train wreck upon a train wreck that just sunk a Titanic, and we're interconnecting all of this. Like the train ran off the rails in Antarctica, slicing off a chunk that went into the ocean and sunk the Titanic purposely.
I'm looking here right now.
We're at.
I ran a super official poll on Twitter. On all I put was Ghislaine Maxwell gets bail, has accident. 25% say that will happen. Gets bail, no accidents. That's 0%. No bail, has accident. 41%.
Yikes.
And no bail, no accident. 33%. Okay.
So what you're saying is we're preaching to the choir here.
So then I put on Twitter immediately after the same day when judge denies bail for Ghislaine Maxwell. Judge denies bail, so she sits in jail. What happens? 25% say has an accident. 75% say cuts deal, tapes disappear. 0% say go to trial.
Yeah.
0%.
Yeah. I think if I have to I gotta agree with that. I think if she makes it out, she's gonna cut a deal. We're never gonna see it.
No, not a chance.
Best case scenario, we're never going to see it. Chance. And then after that happens, not a chance. Are you crazy?
Like no.
They cut a deal.
Not a chance it goes to trial is what I'm saying. Not a chance it ever not a chance it ever gets to trial.
Doesn't go to trial. And so doesn't go to trial. She gets off and then disappears.
Yes.
And then a year later they find out she had an accident.
Oh, I was going to say a couple years later we find out she's been posing as a different person and does the same thing over again.
Something like
yeah. Okay. So this past week it was Chrissy Teigen. I don't even know who she is. She is John Legend's wife.
Teigen.
Okay.
Teigen.
She's an actress, model, or something. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in 2000 and something, she and her husband ended up on the flight manifest to Epstein's Island in the Caribbean. And that came back to light the other day. Okay.
Yeah.
And she flipped out as soon as Maxwell.
She's apparently a little crazy.
Maxwell was arrested, right? And the next day she flips on Twitter.
Yeah.
And starts deleting everything.
Yeah.
As soon as Maxwell was arrested, she starts deleting stuff.
Lord have mercy.
I'm telling you, you don't start deleting stuff unless something's going down.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she just saw the writing on the wall and knew, you know what, it's best to just get rid of all of this stuff before people get
she starts deleting
to try and prove it.
She starts deleting, and then she starts defending herself on Twitter.
Yeah.
To everyone accusing her. And it's like,
that's the problem. The problem I have is and I'm going to say this as I kind of don't believe it myself, but I really want to, is that I am hoping that most of the people that were on these flights with Epstein to wherever they were blissfully unaware of any of this and were not participating in any way. It just happened to be, you know what? They went to his house, they had drinks, and then nothing happened. I don't know. Like, that's what I really want.
Do you want me to go through
happen? And that do you
want me to go through the names? I'm going through the names.
We can.
I'm going through names here.
But that's what I'm hoping is happening, is that it's just like, you know what? If I don't know who's a rich person.
Now these are people.
You just have rich people going over to rich people's houses, and they just happen to be on a flight that, on a private jet.
Yeah, I know. So
I hope that's what we're talking about. But at the same time, like, how do you know? And how can, unless they absolutely prove it, like, this could ruin, I kind of feel for her in some ways, because if nothing happened, just that could ruin both of them. Just the potential.
The problem,
whether or not anything happened. And that doesn't look good, what she's doing. But at the same time, that may be the smartest thing for her to do, so that way people can't go back, because heaven forbid people go back like years on Twitter to find stuff and pull it out. They do it with Trump all the time.
Right.
They go years back into his history and stuff like that. And Trump was one of the ones on the plane too, for goodness sake.
Right. So here we go.
We'll see how that goes.
Adam Perry Lang. Isn't he a restaurateur?
I don't know who that is.
Akon, I think he's a rapper. Alan Dershowitz. Alberto Pinto. Alan Dershowitz is actually in trouble right now with people coming after him with lawsuits for underage solicitation and stuff.
That doesn't look good.
Alec Baldwin, Alyssa Rogers, no idea who that is. Anderson Cooper of CNN.
Alyssa Rogers.
I don't know who Alyssa Rogers is. Andre Mitrovic. Andreas Pastrana, he's Colombian president.
Maybe she's just got one of those names.
Anthony Kiedis, Audrey Riambolt, Barack Obama, Ben Affleck, Beyonce. Now this is just on the flight logs. We don't know where they're going to. Okay.
Right.
We don't know if this is going to the island or not.
This is the hopefully.
Okay, so I'm saying is, well, some of these went to the island, though. Some of these went to the island. Ben Affleck, Beyonce Knowles, Bill Clinton, Bill Hammond, Bill Murray,
Yep.
Brian Affleck,
Ooh.
Karen Casey, Casey Wasserman,
Yikes.
Charlie Sheen, Chelsea Handler,
Yikes.
Chris Tucker, Chris Wagner, Chrissy Teigen. We already talked about her on the show today. Cindy Lopez,
Yep.
Claire Hazel, Courtney Love, Dan Schneider, David Koch. I assume that's of the Koch brothers. David Yarovsky, otherwise known as Yarvo. Demi Moore, Doug Band, Ed Tuttle, Edu Barak, Ellen Spencer, Emily Taylor, Fleur, Harry Lang. No.
Dan Schneider?
Did I say that? Dan Schneider, yes. Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah, Dan Schneider, the owner of the Washington football team.
Is that oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. Wow, amazing. Some of the stuff is coming right back on us.
Oh man.
Glenn Dubin, Greg Holbert, Gwen Stefani, Gwendolyn Beck, Hank Collier, Heather Mann, Henry Rossofsky, James Franco, James Gunn. I'm going to skip some names here just because I don't know who they are. Jeffrey Epstein.
Man.
Jeffrey Epstein under two separate names. What in the world? I don't know. Jim Carrey, Jimmy Kimmel, John Cusack, Joe Paggiano, John Legend, Juan Pablo Molyneux, Kathy Griffin, Katy Perry, Kevin Spacey. As I said, I'm skipping some names here on the list.
I really want to say that I hope, because of the amount of people, I hope that it was just, it would seem on just blank glance, if Epstein hadn't ever done anything, that this would not be an uncommon list of people for him to be entertaining at his home.
But he wasn't a big deal, though. That's the problem.
But he was rich.
Kind of.
But he was rich, and his mistress, whatever she is, wife,
Maxwell, she's married, actually, by the way.
She had a lot of connections.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I'm hoping that
Oprah Winfrey,
if you just looked at it in that light, that's yikes. If you just look at it in that light, that it would just be, you know what, these people are all rich, they're all famous, they're all interconnected somehow, and they all, this is just what happens when you're rich and famous. But
Naomi Campbell, let's see.
I haven't heard Oprah.
Robert Downey Jr. Now, these are all allegedly from the flight logs. Robert Downey Jr., as I said, I'm skipping some of these names here. Seth Green, Sean Carter, Stephen Colbert, Steven Spielberg, Steven Tyler.
There was a lot of people. So there was a lot of people is what we're getting at. In that
Tom
there was
Hanks.
A lot of, it could. No, not Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Tom Hanks.
Dang it.
Virginia Roberts.
Tom Hanks.
Virginia Roberts, who is currently why Epstein was arrested to begin with.
Yeah.
Wanda Sykes, Will Ferrell, Will Smith, and Woody Allen. Which Woody Allen, I don't know if you've looked into his history. Woody Allen is pretty into the young folks, or was back in the day.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing is very disturbing. And as we said, this list does not mean that these people are guilty of Epstein's crimes.
But just on pure association alone, this could ruin your reputation.
Right, exactly.
Which may or may not be what John Legend and Chrissy
Teigen
is.
Yeah.
Teigen, yeah. Which may or may not be what they're running into. So
right.
There's a lot of questions, but boy, if this does it, and the problem is, how do you believe them?
I know.
Even if they do go to trial, even if it does happen and they find all of these people not guilty of anything, how do you believe that is actually accurate and that they didn't just get paid off?
If the allegations
have a fall person,
if the allegations about Epstein are true, how did people not know? Now look,
Makes you wonder.
We talked about
I guess it's possible.
We talked about it this week. Mel Gibson 10 years ago went off screaming about the pedophile situation in Hollywood and how it was full of pedophiles and people were nasty and going after kids all the time. And everyone said he was nuts. And then all of a sudden, welcome 2019, 2020, Elijah Wood comes out and says people molested him. Who was the kid from the Goonies? What was his name? Not Sean. It was boy, I'm missing it here. Who were the kids in the Goonies? Sean Astin was in it. Josh Brolin was also in it.
Yes.
But there was
it was amazing.
Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman said that he was abused by numerous people in Hollywood. Yep. As a boy, and numerous actors have come out and said this, and you have to wonder, are they telling the truth? I mean, Mel Gibson, they wrote him off as crazy.
Maybe.
He came out and said this, and then they wrote him off as crazy. How many movies has he been in since 2010?
I don't know. Let's see.
I don't know. Like,
I don't know. Hold on. I'm looking it up.
I'm super curious because I don't think it has been many.
Mel Gibson. He was great in The Patriot, by the way.
He was amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14 movies since 2000.
He was in, yep. Yeah, not
but
a lot.
None of them are crazy blockbusters.
No, not really.
They're all kind of like, yeah, okay. But anyways, I guess my point is,
oh man.
So 2014, he wasn't in anything until 2010.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
I guess what I'm saying
I don't know, man.
is we're not conspiracy theorists here on the Front Porch Show. We don't wear tinfoil hats. We don't,
Yeah, you completely couldn't tell that by the last segment.
But things are weird, guys.
It is.
Things
weird,
are
man.
weird. I guess that's all I'm saying. Things are weird.
Yep.
You got to look outside the box.
Things are weird, and there's a lot of questionable stuff that make you look, that you feel crazy. I feel crazy.
I know. I feel nuts. I feel like I need tinfoil.
I do. I need tinfoil.
I think we do too.
Though. I got nothing though. That's what we need to do is we need to officially have our tinfoil hats that we put on.
The tinfoil segment?
The tinfoil segment.
Okay. We'll do it next week. I like it.
That way we can warn everybody. The tinfoil hats are on. Here it comes.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
The essence of the American character is to explore new horizons and to tame new frontiers. We must have American dominance in space.
Space Force.
Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the 6th branch of the armed forces.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Dude, I saw a Space Force bumper sticker
Yes.
This week.
Yes.
It was awesome. It was on the back of this SUV, and it said there was like a Star Wars thing on the window, and then there was a Space Force bumper sticker.
You know, we may need it soon because Russia just launched
awesome.
a space weapon.
Did they?
They did.
Was it tungsten?
I don't know about that.
Probably wasn't. Are they too cheap to send up tungsten?
Probably. Not like the U.S. We're willing to spend a lot of money on that stuff.
Yeah, is that where all the change went? Is that where it went? Did we send up? It's not actually tungsten. It's actually the U.S. Mint. They took all the change and sent it up.
I got nothing. Ozzy, some strange happenings here. I don't even know how to begin with this because this feels like more conspiracy theories.
It is. It completely is. Let's just admit it. We're turning into a conspiracy.
We're turning into
theories.
coast to coast.
We need Jeff and Tombstone to come back. We are going off the deep end.
We are turning into coast to coast. A new report from the New York Times confirms the accounts that there's a covert program going on within the Pentagon. Of course there are. That they did investigate unmanned aerial vehicles and other unexplained aerial phenomenon for some time last decade until funding dried up in 2012. Now that neither here nor there, doesn't matter.
What's that mean?
Whatever. Okay, so obviously they've been watching things that they don't understand. Which, if you've seen any of the videos of the aircraft that the military has pursued, it's a little weird when they can't get a lock on the object. They see the object, they can't shoot it. Some of the videos are really weird.
Okay, come on now.
Some of the videos are weird.
Come on. All right, here you go. Ready? I'm going to debunk you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
If they pursued vehicles that they couldn't identify, why in the world would we ever see that footage?
A lot of it has been leaked.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, a lot of it's been leaked.
Boo.
Yeah,
excuse.
I mean, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Leaked, sure.
Right. So, anyways, going through this article here from Popular Mechanics, which was
Popular Mechanics,
basically reviewing the Times article. Harry Reid, former Nevada senator who was instrumental in funding the original UFO program, told the Times he believes that crashes from other worlds had occurred and that retrieved materials had been studied secretly for decades, often by aerospace companies under government contracts.
What?
He says, after looking at this, I came to the conclusion that there were reports, some were substantive, some not so substantive, that there were actual materials that the government and private sector had in their possessions. Astrophysicist Eric Davis, who consulted with the original UFO program, said he examined certain materials. He came to the conclusion we didn't make them ourselves. They came from off-world vehicles. Going on and on and on and on from there.
I need Elon Musk's opinion about this.
I mean,
I kind of believe everything that
I know it's not good at this point. Basically, he can do no wrong. The U.S. can't tell him no.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true though.
Did you see he landed a nose cone? Now he caught a nose cone.
Wait, what?
So the spaceship launched off, jettisoned the nose cone after going through the atmosphere. The nose cone fell back to Earth, and his autonomous control ship caught it.
What?
Yes, caught the nose cone so that they can reuse it because everything's recyclable. I'm basically saying Elon Musk cannot do wrong.
What?
On the news ticker this morning, it says he made $2 billion just this week.
Holy cow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know how much Bezos makes?
I know. It's ridiculous.
I think they said, I was listening to something and they were saying he made like $80-something billion in a day.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Like, good heavens.
That's just wild.
That's ridiculous.
Anyways, yeah.
You have like Fortune like 50 companies that can't make that in a year.
I know.
Or at least Fortune 200 companies or 100 companies or whatever they're called. I don't know. That can't make that in a year. That's crazy.
Anyways,
crazy.
I'd like to see more information on this whole UFO thing, and I'd like to hear from people like Elon Musk.
I want to know what. You know what? I will. I may believe UFOs if Elon Musk said that there were and they have photos, because he would be the one that would have photos. That's why he put that car in space. It's actually who was it? Reagan, or who was it that did the Star Wars?
Reagan.
It was
the Reagan.
Lasers. Yeah,
that was when he wasn't doing the whole Nicaragua thing.
Yep. Elon Musk is taking over, man. Like, that's the car.
So
I bet you the headlights are lasers.
Here's a deeper question for you.
That wasn't.
It's not.
Boo.
If there are, say, extraterrestrials,
yes,
say they exist.
Okay, they exist.
Does that shake your faith? Does that change your theology at all?
Yes.
How so?
Oh.
and do you
really
think,
want to get into this?
No, yes. Yeah, no, yeah. I'm absolutely curious.
Because I have to say, I absolutely do not believe that there is anything.
Okay.
That we are the only existence on this planet, in this universe that God has created.
Okay.
So, I guess that the big question would be if this. Well, we're getting into Mormonism now.
No, we're not.
Yeah, we are. So, what did Christ come and then die for us and not die for the extraterrestrial people? Did he go to their planet?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is his salvation sufficient for all beings?
I mean, Scripture says all mankind.
Right.
We're mankind. Doesn't apply to them. I don't know.
No.
So I guess I don't know. Like,
so yes, that would shake my faith because of, well, for number one, that fact. Also, it would be. I don't know. I gotta really think this out. over radio, I'm kind of like on this. I don't know what to say and what not to say.
No, I hear you. I don't want to.
It's kind of like I don't
want you to.
Do I believe that there are other things in this universe besides us? No.
Okay.
And what is on this planet? No.
Yeah.
No, as far as beings,
yeah, right,
alien beings,
right.
If we're defining
other
being
created
like other,
humanity, if you will,
right,
but,
humanoid type of
cognizant, sentient beings,
right, like Vulcans or something like that. Like,
right,
no,
right,
no,
okay.
No, there is not. There is not. God has created a purposeful universe for His glory that is contained on Earth. Not that we can't explore. But if we're talking about other types of beings that God has created, then yes, we're getting into angels and things like that.
Right,
yes.
right.
Yes, but not aliens per se. So there's a spiritual realm of things that exist, including God Himself.
Yeah.
And then there is the physical realm, if you will. You know, that is not spiritual,
right?
As in that, which
see,
is,
I guess, I know a lot of people, a lot of great people like you with that view. I haven't seen any proof otherwise.
Right.
Is
it fun to talk about? Yes. Because it's a conspiracy theory.
I don't think personally, though, I don't think it would shake my faith at all. Because I think that if God provided us a way, if there was another, whatever you want to call them out there, that God would have provided a way for them as well. In his great infinite, in His great infinite power, He would have done whatever He wants. I mean, we believe that God can do whatever He wants. He's literally, His word has revealed Himself to us through that means.
Right. And I think you get into if you really want to get into it, like I think you get into, okay, is the word of God that we have, if there is another way of salvation, the word of God that we have wouldn't be accurate.
Well, I don't think. See, I guess this is where it gets fun, because I agree with what you're saying. I tend to think that if there was, it would be very similar elsewhere.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying though? Like but you have absolutes of
absolutes
of saying
right.
that there isn't another way
right
for salvation. So unless
but is that another way if you're I mean
yes.
would that be another way though?
Yes.
Believing in Jesus for the redemption of our sins, is that a different way?
So Jesus would have had to die twice because his blood wasn't sufficient to cover everything?
I don't know. I mean, that's the theological question there.
I mean, theoretically, Christ's blood could have been sufficient to cover animals too, but it doesn't.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Not that it couldn't have.
Right.
But they were explicitly exempt.
Yeah.
Only one type of being that was created in his image. I think you're getting into a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy ego.
It's one of those. Well, it's one of those
paradox here.
It's one of those. It's like you can't really ever game this out unless it actually was true. Like unless it was revealed to us that okay, so this happened on a different. There is another. What would you call them? Species people.
I mean, I think the only way that you could potentially game this out would be to say that there is theoretically a different universe that is completely separate and would not be any part of our universe, nor could we interconnect in any way, shape, or form with that God has potentially created. But even then, I think you have a lot of theological problems.
Maybe.
So
apparently Ozzy doesn't subscribe to the multiverse theory then.
I mean, it's possible, but I think once you get into that, you're getting into well, okay, you could have God in kind of everything instead of God in one thing, and then however does that mean that Allah is valid or Buddha or
I think however it would be gamed out, it would be he would obviously, because of who he is, consistent through all those forms, through all the means, if you will, across all of not humanity, all of the universe, obviously. I tend to think that we are unique. Is that arrogance? Maybe a little bit, but I also know God has specifically created us. Right. That's evident from his word. Throughout scripture, it tells us how unique and how special we are to him. I don't know. It's a fun thought process. I don't have any answers to it. It's interesting to talk about, but whatever. I don't. Honestly, I imagine all of this stuff is weird crap that we found laying around that we just don't know what it is.
All the stuff that they're trying to find.
Yeah, what they found.
Yep.
It's just
I think,
stuff.
Like realistically, it's either government projects that they don't want anybody else to know about, and there isn't intergovernmental.
Well, now you're being
communication on certain things, certain levels, which is to be expected, because if you're creating something and you want to keep it secret, you're going to only have a certain amount of people, and you're not going to tell every single people. So the Air Force may be blissfully unaware of any of this.
Right.
That it's happening.
Oh, yeah. Compartmentalization of data.
Right. Because
always happens.
Exactly. So, or you're potentially seeing, I mean, we're not the only government in the world.
Good grief, yeah.
That's going to be doing this. So it's possible
as we've shown today, the government is good at keeping things secret, or good at covering things up.
It could be Russian, it could be Chinese, it could be Korean, maybe not North Korean, but Korean. You know what I mean? Like it could be German, because German people, for heaven's sakes,
German engineering.
My goodness. But there could be a million different coincidences that they're not telling us and we're not paying attention to, and it's all hush hush until it happens.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what?
Then all of a sudden they're flying B-2s at
It was a weather balloon.
Right, exactly.
It was a weather balloon, and just let everybody go crazy on their conspiracy theory. Because, hey,
let them roll.
Yeah, it's not hurting anything, and all it's doing is invalidating most people and going, these people are crazy.
Have you heard the theory that was actually the Russians? Because they were sending the weather balloon in Roswell.
I've heard a lot of
things. So they were sending over I think it was little kids or genetically engineered kids or something.
What?
Like, yeah, it was super, super weird. Like, the Russians had this weird program going on where they were altering kids. Yeah, to freak people out or something. And they'd send them over in these high-level weather balloons.
Okay.
And then
I got you.
They'd pop over to the U.S. and they'd fall.
Oh.
And that's why these people looked like aliens, but they weren't. They were people.
Possible.
Modified to look different. Anyways, weird stuff.
It's possible. All right. Well.
Anyways, so there's that. Ozzy, what do you do when something goes bump in the night?
Continuing.
Or bump in the shower.
All right. So I found this story. It is from 2019. I don't know if we covered it. I think we may have. I'm not really sure.
Something strikes me as I see the picture here. I think we have, but it's hilarious.
I've lost track of it. It's from last July. So a year ago, July 2019. So the headline is, man uses, quote, shower gun after burglar breaks into his house while he is showering.
Now, I don't understand the issue with this. Doesn't everyone have a shower gun?
This is the greatest American thing right at this moment I can think of. This is an all-American move at this. So in German Township, Ohio,
don't fall over laughing.
Every guy tries to justify having one, but for Richard Weingartner, his shower gun might have saved his life. So the gist of it is, a guy breaks into this dude's house. He is in the shower, hears something, and randomly has a gun stashed in his shower for this exact circumstance.
Hold on. The article goes on to say that his home has been burglarized 4 times since May.
Yes.
How?
I'm not saying it's not prepped, but it's just the hilarity of it.
How?
So this guy.
This is rural Ohio.
So this guy is being robbed, burglarized, has a gun in his shower now because why not? I mean,
America.
You're being burglarized, right? America, and holds the guy at gunpoint, and calls the police. And moments later, I guess the burglar tried to run away and he shot at him. So,
good grief.
But yeah, so
I mean, it's about an hour outside of Columbus, I guess, or half hour outside of Columbus.
I thought it was great. This sounds like something that you need to invest in, Aaron.
Who says I haven't already?
Okay, well, yeah.
No.
So the plausibility. I mean, this one, the picture above is not actually what he did, but there's a picture
I like it.
Waterproof case, and there's a snub nose revolver of some type, that is sitting in it, and yeah. So
it's impressive.
Just in case,
Wow.
This man obviously does not have kids. He can't. So
no
way.
You know,
but, this is some Dwight Schrute stuff right here, man. Like, you know, he has everything hidden around the office. There's like, this dude's probably got like daggers hidden somewhere. He's probably got a gun in the toilet that's submerged and wrapped, you know, like
you don't
in the tank of the toilet. I'm not saying that. To stop saying what I'm not saying.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't want to give away anything, but
okay.
It's just it's great. It's great.
I agree with you.
It's America.
It's fantastic.
It is America.
When I read this headline, tell me whether or not you think that it probably doesn't mean what it says. Because, headlines normally today don't actually go on to share the actual story, right?
No.
Hostage siege ends.
They should have a name for that, like maybe clickbait or something.
Clickbait, yeah. This is actually not clickbait, strangely enough. Hostage siege ends after Ukrainian president endorses Joaquin Phoenix film.
What?
Yes. Hostage siege ends after Ukrainian president endorses Joaquin Phoenix film.
I want to guess what this is.
Okay.
Here's my guess. My guess is that you have a bunch of Karens in the movie theater that were really angry that in Ukraine they weren't showing Walk the Line. And because they're such dedicated Johnny Cash fans, they wanted to see it. And because Joaquin Phoenix is such a controversial person, the Ukrainian president was like, we don't like him. And they were like, you know what? We're going to hostagize the people here. Yes, I just made that up. It sounds awesome.
It's an amazing word.
So we're gonna hostagize these people and keep them inside the movie theater and only let them eat popcorn and not give them any drinks so they become dehydrated until you show us Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
That's my guess.
No. This is courtesy of The Guardian. A gunman in Ukraine armed with an automatic rifle and grenades has surrendered to police and released 13 hostages after the country's president consented to his demand to recommend the 2005 animal rights documentary Earthlings, narrated by Joaquin Phoenix.
What?
Hours-long standoff in the western Ukrainian city of Lutsk.
What's the man's name?
44-year-old Maskim Kryvosh seized a bus.
That translates into Big Karen.
Big Karen, okay.
For those of you who don't know.
Big Karen seized a bus and demanded... We're going to get in so much trouble on that one. Big Karen seized a bus and demanded that dozens of government officials admit to being terrorists. During the negotiations, which began Tuesday morning, he opened fire.
And one of his demands was a documentary?
Yes. Well, no, endorsed the documentary. He threw a grenade at a police drone and opened fire on it.
Oh, my goodness.
Automatic gunfire sent some journalists at the scene diving for cover. No one was seriously injured during the standoff, but a bullet was reported to have nearly struck the national chief of police. It didn't strike him. It nearly struck him. They just had to add that in just for, panache there.
Was this like one of those things where the bullet like ricochets by and goes, pew!
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that
scariest sound ever, though? Like if it's actually happening to you, it's pretty scary.
I think
sound.
everybody got
okay,
that.
I'm
you don't have to explain it. You're making
gunman spoke with journalists via Twitter during the whole thing.
Oh no. Oh no.
One hostage was speaking to journalists by telephone during the crisis.
What?
This does not speak well for.
This dude is the worst.
The film Earthlings from 2005. Everyone should watch it, said Big Karen in a video released over Facebook. It was deleted after surrendering and replaced by a note thanking police and others who helped to end the crisis.
What is this film?
This sounds so weird. 500-page manifesto delivered an anti-government screed shortly before he boarded the bus.
In 500-page man.
Yeah.
Dude.
And told police he had rigged it with explosives.
The manifesto?
I don't know. It says he boarded the bus and told police it was rigged. Who knows? Again, who knows with today's news reporting. And by that I mean us. So Who knows with us? So Earthlings by Joaquin Phoenix, guys. Or
I've never even heard of this documentary.
neither have I. Is it on Netflix? I might need to go watch it.
I don't know. Let's see. What in the world?
Earthlings.
Oh, let's see what Rotten Tomatoes gave it.
It's a feature-length documentary about humanity's absolute dependence on animals, but also illustrates complete disrespect for these so-called non-human providers.
I mean,
I guess.
yeah.
I mean,
my goodness. It got a 92% for Rotten Tomatoes.
Interesting.
What? You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I heard Joaquin Phoenix is a vegan or whatever, so, you know.
He also quit making movies too. Remember
Did he?
that? You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was like after one of the movies, he was like, "Oh yeah, this is, by the way, I'm retiring. This is my last movie. I'm never going to do movies again."
Oh,
As a joke.
1995.
Everybody took him seriously. It's pretty funny.
1995, he stopped acting?
The audience score.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is crazy. What in the world? It looks creepy. Like, it looks creepy. I would never have guessed that this was a documentary. There's like a cow, a longhorned cow, and then Joaquin Phoenix, it's his face on half of his face, and then on the other side of the cow's in the middle, on the other side of the cow, there's like a red fern.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's super weird. Like the cover is weird. So
okay.
It looks like something where someone's going to die. But okay, well, that's interesting.
That's
this man, I am assuming his demands were met.
Yeah, they yeah.
I got nothing.
They were met.
This is as crazy as this is just yeah.
It's a little weird.
I don't understand.
Final story of the day. For you North Carolina residents,
I'm so scared about what this is going to
be. Be very careful because apparently rabid foxes will enter your home through dog doors.
A rabbit fox.
A rabid fox, yes.
Oh, a rabid fox.
Not a rabbit fox. No, those are terrifying.
Could you imagine how fast they would multiply?
They would bounce all over the place. Julie Laughlin said the reporters came into her bedroom in Greensboro, North Carolina on Sunday night, jumped on her bed, and then bit her finger and grabbed her ankle by its mouth.
Wait a minute. What?
What?
Wait. I think you read that wrong.
The animal jumped?
Did you just said no, you said reporters came into her house.
Oh, did I?
Jumped on her bed.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's what you just said.
So sorry, reporters.
Did you say reporters?
Journalism has not gone that savage yet. That's dark.
Watch out.
The fox then jumped on her bed, bit her finger, and grabbed her ankle by its mouth.
I could be wrong. We got to re-listen to this because I'm not sure I was right, but I hope I was.
Laughlin said now this is where journalism is terrible. Laughlin said grabbed the animal by its neck.
Who'd she say that to?
Laughlin said, and there's no change in punctuation, no quote, no nothing. Laughlin said grabbed the animal. It should say she. Laughlin said she grabbed the animal by its neck for more than... Anyways, but, we don't edit anything nowadays.
Yep.
Who sent me this article? How dare you send me an unedited article?
Yep. Especially one that doesn't say that's what she said.
It's true. It's true. They tested the fox. She's been given the rabies vaccine.
Wait, the fox?
I assume the fox has been euthanized, but
The fox is a she now? Or she's been given the rabies vaccine?
Laughlin.
You said,
Julie Laughlin.
You can't even read it with correct punctuation.
Really?
You just said the fox, or they said the fox has been given. You didn't punctuate correctly. I can't punctuate correctly now either.
I'm so tired.
So the fox said she's been given the rabies vaccine.
Oh my goodness.
They gave the fox the rabies vaccine. Thank goodness.
I don't know, Ozzy.
Don't give it to the woman because she's fine. The fox doesn't have rabies now.
No, the fox is dead. www.thefrontporchshow.com. You can listen to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes.
That did not end well.
Google Podcasts. Anywhere where you like to get your online content, we are there, including YouTube, where, as I said before, if I upload it properly, it's there, and you can see our faces and you can see our antics as we come back to air and as Ozzy gives y'all the stink eye. It's weird, man. It looks like you're looking at your kids. Here's to looking at you, kid. Later.